This is the right space to explore real-life issues affecting real people. We provide professional counseling to individuals, couples, organization, schools, church, and others. Follow, share, subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Let's Chit Chat UK.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Hello, everyone. How are we all today?
Fine.
You're good. Oh, this is Let's Chit Chat. So please share, follow, and subscribe. We are back. We are back with a brand new topic. We are back today. I'm so glad to have the three ladies here on board. I'm missing the two men badly, but I have the three ladies. So the two ladies, so we are three of us. This is Let's Chit Chat. I'm Pastor Cecile. So if you'd like to introduce yourself, ladies.
I'm Odile.
Hi, I'm Jackie, counselor psychologist, and we're here today to talk about sex before marriage and hopefully have loads of opinion and feedback on it.
Brilliant. Jackie has introduced the topic for today. I love that. So our topic today is our opinion, our view, our idea. What do we think about sex before marriage? Some of us have a Christian view, which we're not going to bring it on board yet. But we really are talking about, is it good to have sex before marriage? Is it a disaster just waiting to happen? That's what we are talking today. Is it a disaster waiting to happen? Is it the norm in this new generation? If it takes you 50 years before you get married, if it takes you 25 years, 35 years, sex before marriage, is it practical or is it a disaster waiting to happen? Ladies, who is going to go first? What do you tell us about what you think regarding sex before marriage? Odile, you have the ball.
Well,
Let's chat. We are chatting and we are chatting.
I do not believe in getting married before, not knowing the person. I, I'm a Christian, but I really think I wouldn't want to get married to somebody without knowing them.
Without knowing them. What do you mean without knowing them?
I wouldn't want to get married to somebody without having sex with them. I wouldn't. I mean, it's just my opinion. I wouldn't live with somebody and then get married to them without being intimate, without having sex with them. Is that just my opinion?
Brilliant. So Odile's opinion is it's good to know the person, it's good to discover the person, it's good to be intimate with them so she can know who is actually that person. Now, Odile, will come back with few questions for that. We reserve your opinion for now. Jackie, what do you think?
Right, I just think today with modern society, a lot of people are not really getting married. They're actually living with each other to find out if they get on before they even think about marriage. And obviously, they're having intercourse sex before marriage as well.
Jackie has
Well, I think
kind of
back in the day, it was people used to get married before they had sex, like back in the 1960s, 70s. Yeah.
Jackie has a very big opinion, and Odile has also a very big opinion, which go to what Jackie is saying. So Jackie just said many people live together and they don't want to get married, and they don't get married. and they live together and they stay together and they quote together. What happened then? Then Odile is saying she will not want to marry someone without really knowing the person. But now the Bible says, I know we are not all Christian, and this channel is real life issue for real people and real situation. So we are not strictly based to accommodate just Christian. We accommodate everyone and anyone because we are for everyone. The Bible says that your body is a temple of Christ, but that will apply to every Christian. So I will appeal to every Christian. So I will be holding the Christian opinion and the Christian biblical opinion about sex before marriage. But I would love to come back to Odile and come back to Jackie. Odile says, there's no way, well, not there's no way. Odile says, I would really want to discover this person. I would really want to know this person before I can actually, if at all I will marry them, I can marry them. Now, Odile, give me the reasons why you are basing your decision on, because obviously there's a reason to everything. Why? What is the reason?
Well, I think, yeah, back in those days, people they had a lot of time, and either most marriages were arranged marriages, or they were already, you have time to study somebody, you do things together, you and the family will come and see your family, they all those cultural things. But now I think we live in a society where those things are so difficult, and it's really hard to find somebody who will say to you, oh, actually, I want to marry you just like that. So you do have time to know them. And for me, living abroad with everything that is happening, I really don't want to jump into that before knowing you. Because let's face it, you live in a different city, I live in a different city. Then just the idea of us going to the registry office or wherever to sign some paper that we are married does not make sense to me. For me, I think I want to know you. I want to spend time with you. I would like to live with you because I will never know you living apart and me living apart. So how would I even know you? We can even live together not knowing one another, let alone you living in one country and I live in another one, and then I just get married to you. It doesn't make sense to me.
I love what you just said, Odile. I love what you just said, because you said that before most marriages might have been, or not strictly 100%, but a majority were kind of arranged, or the family kind of knew each other, and people had a lot of time to study each other. There was no pressure. Environment was really productive to be able to maintain that kind of relationship where people can just get to know each other for years and years out, and the family will go and meet the other family. So there's trust issues and the connections issues, and everything is so simple and so straightforward. So there was no need, oh, we have Pastor Enoch in. Good. He's a man who will tell us. Welcome, Pastor Enoch. I'm also glad to have a man in today. God bless you for being here. Brilliant, excellent. We're missing on Richard, but we have one man. So, Pastor Enoch, we just started. For everyone who just tuned in, this is Let's Chit Chat, real platform for real issue, for real situation. Somebody is going through the stress at the moment that they need to reserve or preserve themselves before marriage. Then marriage is taking long to come. And sex before marriage, is it a disaster to happen? Is it good? Odile has given her opinion at the moment that she will want to know the person. She will want to discover this person before she marries this person. And I love what Odile said, that it used to happen, sex no sex before marriage in the olden days, because most marriage or some parts of the majority of the marriage were arranged or connection from one family to the next. So people have a lot of time to come and meet the family of the other person, make it a family things. So everything was more civilized. So therefore, it was easier to maintain that kind of relationship. But now it's a bit difficult, the pressure. And again, how can you really know somebody who you haven't discovered properly? You'll want to be with that person for some time before you agree, yes, I want to marry you. Jackie also has given a very good opinion that now society there's pressure, things have changed, so it's not quite easy at the moment to live that kind of life. And Jackie also made a very valid point where she said that some people don't want to get married, they just want to live as a partnership, they're living together but they are not married or they are not getting married. So those people, where do we place them in sex before marriage? Now, I've touched a bit. I haven't yet touched on the biblical view about sex before marriage, which is not acceptable. But I will go to that. Courtship is the way people get to know each other before they marry, but I will go to that. But then Karen has come on. Lady Karen is saying Christians don't even live by these rules anymore. This is Lady Karen commenting when I said about the biblical view of sex before marriage. So Lady Karen has commented that Christians don't even live on this view anymore. So that is Odil's opinion, and this is Jackie's opinion. So Pastor Enoch has just come. Jackie, I think you had a view before Pastor Enoch takes the word. Jackie, is there anything that you want to add to your view, your first?
I would just say, like, with society moving on and people changing and everything around us changing in the environment, a lot of people were actually living together. And then if they decide later on they want to get married, they get married. But I've heard of people that have lived together, been together for years and years and years. They get married, and within a couple of years, they get divorced. So I really don't know. I mean, obviously, marriage is really special, and it, you know, brings you closer. I think, but yeah, there's a lot of cases where people have been together for X amount of time, maybe over 10 years, get married, and the marriage only lasts for a couple of years.
Brilliant. Pastor Enoch, welcome.
Thank you,
Sex
mommy.
before marriage. Is it a disaster? You just heard Jackie and Odile, and you have heard Lady Karin's view, sex before marriage. What can you tell us? Remember, it's real issue for real people.
Mm, mm. Wow, thank you, mommy, and God bless you, my sisters. God richly bless you. All that I could say is that, mommy, as we are saying, is just a bomb waiting to just blast. One thing is that what's the guarantee that after the person has been like you people has been making love and this kind of thing, what's the guarantee that the person is going to marry you? And who in his, let's say, in right sense, like will go into something that you are not sure of the outcome of it? So I can say that both morally, societally, practically, is very wrong to enter into that kind of aspect before letting the person marry you. All the same, you could say, oh, if like you don't know the person, or the person must know the ins and the out, if you can perform and this kind of stuff. No. Also, why is that you want to know what is inside before you marry a person. And let's bear in mind that marriage is the only, let's say, institution that one enters into it before the person gets the certificate. So we shouldn't take it as, oh, if the person doesn't get to know me, maybe a time might come during this kind of sexual intercourse and everything, the person must get angry. Everybody wants a tear rubber. Everybody will appreciate a tear rubber. So why is that when it comes to this, you want to just know what is in before you marry the person? So, mommy, practically it's wrong for you to have sex before marriage.
Okay. You have heard Pastor Enoch's view on this, so he's standing for he's standing by his view. Now, Pastor Enoch, I will go to what Jackie said. Then you can give us your view on what Jackie said, and I will also remind you what Odile said before they themselves they remind you. Jackie said many people don't want to get married. They just want to live with the person, and marriage is not the institution. So what will you say to those people like Jackie just said? This is someone who say, you know what, I just don't want to get married. So maybe it doesn't mean that those people don't get married. Sometime after 10 years, they get married. But for that moment, they're thinking, I just don't want to get married. And the society is what it is. What do you say to such person?
Mommy, can you please repeat that question for me?
Jackie said many people just don't want to get married. Maybe they will get married or they will think about getting married after 5 years. But for where they are at the moment, they don't want to they haven't brought that on the table. So what do you say to those group or those categories of people?
What I can say is that if you are not ready, why don't you abstain? Why do you want the instant gratification? It's like, okay, I want to marry you, but for now, I want to have enjoyment first. You know, if you want the full package, why don't you go for it? Why do you have to, postpone something that you are not ready of? So if, like, let's say financially, you are not ready financially. What if, like, children come inside? So these kind of things leads to one another, right? Because you are unprepared about the dating and everything that is in it. What if mistakenly, like, children comes to it? What are you gonna do? It's like, oh, let's abort it for now. By the time you realize, some people have made a mistake that, oh, we are not ready for this, and this kind of stuff happen, and you should abort it before they realize they can't give birth anymore. So why you have to like play with fire? If you are not ready, you just abstain till you are ready, then you go for it.
Well, Odile can speak for herself. I will not want to comment. Odile, debate yourself. Speak for yourself.
Okay. I stand by my opinion, because this is something that I have witnessed in my life, where I had it's a close relation, a close friend of the family, who spent all her life waiting for this guy, to get married to her, and they were together. They dated for about 18 months. Then they got married, and that was the fastest marriage, a breakup I've ever seen, because they got married. This is somebody who cannot perform in bed, and the girl doesn't know what to do with this marriage. This man has all the luxury, everything she wants. But at the end of the day, this man there is nothing down there. And I think sex is such a big part of a relationship. When two people are together, it is a part of our life. It's something. Why would I marry somebody who cannot satisfy me? Because at the end of the day, I will cheat on you. And this is something I wouldn't want to be in a relationship for the sake of it. Is it because they will be calling me Mrs. This? Why will I be there? If you, I think, I understand, I respect people who will want to stay and wait. And I don't really know this day how fast people get married when they meet, how long they take to date, or how, I don't know. But for me, I would rather be with somebody, because I'm not rushing to go and sign their paper, because at the end of the day, I look at it as like signing those papers, being with family who would bring their opinion is just an aspect of it. But the real people who are in it are two people together. So if the two of us cannot communicate in that sense, in that part, that people tend to neglect, because they think by you discovering me is something that is so bad. I don't see it as something that is so bad. I want to know you. I want to appreciate you. And if things cannot work between the two of us, I wouldn't want to be somewhere where in a few years' time I will have to start looking outside because I'm not happy. So
I love Odil's opinion. Pastor Enoch, prepare yourself for that. Jackie, what do you think about what Pastor Enoch has said? Prepare yourself for that. Odil says
I'm really ready.
Odil says she would not want to be in a relationship where she will go and cheat on the husband because she did not take the time to discover that is a perfect fit for her. Then she will be living in sin, which the Bible says not to live in sin. As a pastor, well, prepare yourself to answer that question. Odil is talking as a human being, real life issue for real people. Let's chit chat. Jackie, what do you think? Jackie.
Right. Okay. Obviously, if there's no satisfaction in the bedroom, like sexually, and there's a problem, I mean, the person should discuss it with their husband first. And if there's no result and they want to look elsewhere, then obviously I reckon they should. But obviously to not carry on with the marriage as well, because
Pastor, you heard the two ladies. Jackie's giving exactly Odil's opinion. So you have to pull yourself out. You have two strong ladies telling you that you and I know the Bible says your body is a temple of Christ. So you have to keep that temple holy, safe, righteous, prepared for marriage. You should not actually have sex before marriage. But then Karim says Christians don't even live with that anymore. And again, rightfully says a lot of Christians, when they discover that they're pregnant, they run to go and get married. Straight on, you see them getting married. The pregnancy is already there 1 month, 2 months. So you see them rushing to get married just to say that they married before they were pregnant or before they discover. But when you really calculate the days, you realize that they got married just about 8 months, the person is delivering. Just about 7 months, the person is delivering. Just under 9 months, they are actually delivering. Then you yourself, you know that something happened that meets the eye. You and I know it. So that one, before that one also, are we Christians becoming so craftily, cleverly that we will kind of how can I say I don't know the word that to put, lie to the non-Christian that we are keeping ourselves righteous and holy when we kind of like tricking them into getting married just as we discover that we are pregnant, just to say that we are living by Christian rules, which is what Karin has just said. Now the two ladies said if they're not satisfied in the marriage, they will obviously look elsewhere. And they are Christian, maybe not born again as you and I, but they are very honest to say what they will do. Some of us Christians, we do that, but we are not honest in saying it. So answer the two ladies.
Thank you, Mommy, and thank you, Sister Odile and Sister Jackie. I want to ask Sister Odile and Sister Jackie one question. What's the guarantee that if, like, you marry the person, you guys are having sex and everything, and you get married to the person, and maybe something happened in the process of the marriage, because they are talking about the cheating aspect, and I want to put to them that somebody who is a cheater is a cheater, no matter what you do to that person. So what if in the process of the marriage incident happen, the man can't perform anymore? You know, the man cannot certify you in the process. What is going to be your action at the end of this situation? And let's bear in mind that now, if we begin to date, we go for clinical checkups and counseling and everything. They are involved. So the probability that we will be able to detect some effect, if it is there, is high than like we entering into the marriage to just find out. So it's all part, the dating aspect is all part of the preparation that we make. Because we cannot say, oh, what if, like, we will not. I'm not talking even about the Christian aspect. We are talking facts here, because there are instances whereby some people who seems to be strong, who seems to have the ability to perform, all of a sudden some lose their manhood, and what happens next? So,
Well, Pastor, what is the guarantee that both of us abstaining ourselves before marriage? What is the guarantee that we have that after getting married and having sex after marriage, that marriage will last? I don't think there is any guarantee in life, because we have had people who abstain, who stay and get married before having sex, and then they have sex after they get married, and they separated they can't stay together. So for me, I wouldn't want to be in that position, because I think sex is a is a big part in two people together. I'm not saying that I know you today and jump in bed with you today. And nowadays, there is something that I'm not sure about: how many people married within 6 months or a year after they met. So I would rather be with somebody. I'm with you, we live together. You know me, I know you, and then we make that decision that, you know what, as marriage is something that will protect us, because we are not just getting married for the sake of it. There should be a reason why we are getting married in the first place. Because there are some people who are really happy together. Like Jackie said, there are people who stay together for a very long time, and the minute they go and sign that paper, the next month or so, they're separated. So I don't think a marriage is a guarantee that people will stay forever. So for me, I would like to be with you the time that we are learning to know one another. We are exploring everything that we have, that God has given us. So I do not see, don't get me wrong, I am a Christian and I'm a believer, but for me, this is just something that I feel like our parents, our grandparents, they were doing certain things because they had that ability. They had, like, they were living, they knew families. I know your father, I know your mother, I know your relatives, and they had that time that they learned to know one another. But these days, we are here. You meet someone, you know nothing about their background, and then you can also live with somebody a year without even knowing them. So I wait all this time and then I go and marry you, and then you're some sort of a gangster, and then there is nothing there for me. I'm frustrated every day because you can't, you can't perform. And that will not work, because a lot of marriages actually are breaking down because the man cannot satisfy their wife. And
Good.
you don't want to put me in that situation where I have to be, have that in my conscience. Oh, I'm married to this man. It doesn't matter because I'm married to you. If you cannot satisfy me, I will have to stay because I'm married to you. That's not fair. So
Good. Jackie Odile has given her point of view on Zainab's comment. Jackie, what do you think? You gave it an illustration that people do get married and then it doesn't work. They stay together, they get married, then they divorce, and so yeah. What do you think, Jackie?
I think like people nowadays. I mean, a lot of people want to get married, but the people that do want to get married, some people take for years to have a big wedding. Obviously, sometimes the marriages don't work, and I think a lot of people do stay together because of the sake of the marriage or the sake of the children, and it just becomes really, really terrible situation. They're just like living lives like awful lives with their partner. And that's what happens. And then the cheating comes in, being devious, and yeah, and sometimes the marriage people end up, I don't know, some people end up like just really resenting each other. So I think if there's a problem and you can't sort it out, you can't talk about it in a rational way and communicate, then obviously, and you can't seek counselling and you can't seek other like advice out there, and it's still not going anywhere, then obviously the marriage is over, and you can't continue. It takes two to make a marriage work.
Brilliant. So, Pastor Enoch, Odile said, Pastor, thank you, Jackie. Odile said, what's the guarantee that if they abstain themselves, when they do get married, they will not divorce? Like you said, what's the guarantee that if they have sex before marriage, they will still carry on getting married? Why not abstain? And then Odile says, what's the guarantee that if they do get into this marriage and they do abstain, what's the guarantee that they will not actually divorce? Is it just the act of just abstaining themselves before marriage that is very important? Or the fact that they have to get to know each other very well before they enter into this act?
Mhm.
But we often enough, we know that anything that is discovered ahead of time becomes neglected or become not excited or become or is used for granted. So it's often enough when it is said, and the Bible says, sex before marriage is not good, is to make it holy to that person or that husband, to make it the person. Expectation brings desire, expectation brings hope, and just this waiting moment, and it makes the persons feel like, oh yes, I waited, so it's valued when they do get it. But then society these days, often enough, people don't value anything, even what they waited for a long time. The minute there's a problem, they are quick to jump out, they are quick to give up, they are quick to abandon. So like Odile was saying, that she knows a case where a girl took her all her time to wait, and then she got married. Then the marriage did not even last for 2 years. Then she was out, and that was the quickest marriage she has ever seen. So what do you say of that, Pastor? No, the question is, sex before marriage, is it disaster waiting to happen, or is it good? You still stand our opinion, which you first said is bad, not to go and taste what you're going to have. Best to resist yourself and wait and just be patient. But the women have told you what they think. What is your view? And anyone who is out there, please share, comment, give us your opinion about this topic, because it's really important. A lot of people are going through pressure because they don't want to have sex before marriage. A lot of people also are going through pressure because they have been made or pushed to have sex with that person before marriage, and the person ended up not marrying them. Then at one point they think, if only I have waited, maybe the person would have married me. And a lot of people using that to their advantage as well, to say that, oh, a lot of guys might be using that to their advantage to say that, oh, I need to know you, I need to be able to liaise with you, so it doesn't matter, I will marry you, let's have sex. So they can bring this girl or this woman to have sex with them on the promises of marriage, but then at the end they don't marry them. How does it leave this girl broken, that this person, maybe I wasn't going to have sex with them, but because they promised to marry me, that's the reason why I allow myself. So what do I do now? Pastor, no, because there are cases where girls want to really reserve themselves or preserve themselves. Someone will come with a big promise for marriage, then they think, oh, it's going to be my husband, so let me go on. Willingly, they did not desire to do that, but then after that, they decide that, you know what, the first one lied to me, so the second one, maybe I'm going to have sex with him without expectation until I get to the person that I want to get to. What do you think? Because there are many scenarios. Pastor, no.
Thank you, Mommy, once again. Thank you to my sisters. I will say this one thing, that there is a purpose whereby we want to get married. And one thing is that during the dating process, it's whereby we get to know the character of the person. So it's not about the sex alone that sustains the marriage. We are talking about a situation whereby even the action of a woman or the man can even like send the man off, like get the man off, or do something that will not be appreciated also by the woman. So the guarantee that if you have sex with a person, the marriage is going to sustain is very much even lower as the guarantee that if you don't have sex, at the end of the day, one thing that even you be able to, say to yourself is that, oh, I did not even give you my body, right? So in some sense, you'll be able to, have kind of, I'm not saying if it's a harsh word, a kind of dignity that the person didn't see your nakedness. It's not about only the moral aspect. Society also, because if I've gotten whatever that I want from you, like what will pressure me to get married to you? If we started, I've gotten the sex, I see your body. You see, the more that you spend time with somebody, the more that like sometimes you feel like you want to be alone.
Well, Pastor, honestly, we've seen scenarios. I think it's just a myth. Some people don't actually do it. I don't believe in all those men who are saying, oh, I have abstained for a year to wait for this woman, because I think people lie too much on relationships. Because we have scenarios where we see men dating 2-3 girls at the same time. One is resisting for sex, the other one is having it, and the man will choose somebody they've been sleeping with. So I think for me, is a lot of hypocrisy on it. Is people are just playing games. So it's about whether you know me or not. It's not actually, I think there should be something deep that would make you want to marry me. It won't be because you already knew my nudity, or it will be something that inside you, you believe that, oh, I want to marry this woman, whether you have had sex with me or not. So I don't see it as I do not believe that suddenly you come, you say, oh, I can't marry you because I have been sleeping with you, or I'll marry you because I haven't been sleeping. Like yourself, you said, there are some women out there with a very stinky attitude, and you will date this woman, they will not have sex with you, but then they are the rudest person in the world because they are abstain. Because would you want to be with someone like that because they say, oh, I won't marry you, but yet there is no respect, the way they treat you, there is nothing, but just because they say, oh, I reserve my body when we are married, that you go into that. And if you're dating somebody who is so kind to you, who will do anything for you, who will treat you well, but just because they want to know you, they want to know yours, they want to have sex with you, that will not make them any less than a person. And I think based on those things, I don't actually believe that because someone has abstained himself from sleeping with a girl, that he will respect that girl more than some another one. Yes, we're not talking about a nightstand here that someone will just jump on you, rip your clothes. We are talking about somebody you're dating and you know them. You see their character, you go to their house, the way they treat you, respect, dignity, you know they are caring. But then they have sex with you before you marry them. It doesn't make them any less than, I don't think, for me, the thing I will be looking at is not just because I can abstain from you, but have sex with other men just because I want to be with you. So are we talking about virgin women here, or we are talking about someone who has had their life, but you just meet them and you're dating them? How do you know that that person is not having sex somewhere else, but just keeping it away from you because they want to be with you? So it's very, for me, it's
Okay, so if what you are saying, I'm getting you right, then I'm listening to something like we are getting beyond sex. Marriage is beyond sex. So if marriage is beyond sex, so what if like we wait till we get married because it's character and it's something deep, as you were saying, that you have seen the person, that you want to get married to the person, not because of the sex or the nakedness of the person that you have seen. Then that means that you are even supporting my argument that sex even before marriage is not all that necessary, because you are telling me we are looking beyond the sex aspect.
no, I think is a for me. I think it's a big part. I'm not saying what I'm saying is that people make some pretend a lot when it comes to these things. Let's take an example. If you come to me and I say to you, I'm virgin, then you say, okay, I won't touch you until we get married. Then you marry me and then you just realize that, oh yes, you're the first man. That is one thing. But if you meet me, maybe I was in a relationship before, you were in a relationship before, what guarantee you have that me waiting with you for a year while you make that decision, I'm not looking somewhere else? How do you know? And even with men, how do I know that this man is here? He's been waiting for me for for the last 12 months, and he never had sex with somebody else. So I just look at it in a way that It's about two people together. When you meet someone, and I don't think we should be putting some boundaries. Is what the two of us are happy to do. I don't think I should be saying that, oh, because I'm sleeping with with this person before we get married, he will not marry me. Or I don't see it that way. I just feel like if I meet you, we get along, I get to know you, and then we decide to have it, we have it. So if at the end of the day we are meant to get married, we will get married, whether we had sex or we didn't have sex. But I wouldn't put it that it's so wrong for me to sleep with somebody before I marry them. For me, I wouldn't put it that way.
Mm. Jackie is nodding her head, agreeing with
Yeah,
what
I
we
agree
said.
with her actually. I do agree because nowadays it's so modern society. We're not actually getting married. People are not just getting married just to have sex. They are getting married because they communicate and they bond with each other and because they love each other. Yeah. So that's my opinion.
Brilliant. Now, Pastor Enoch, I have a question with what Odile just said. Odile just said that what is the guarantee that these people who are actually waiting, these two people who are saying to each other, you are waiting for me, I am waiting for you until we tied the knot, so we are waiting for each other. Odile say, what is the guarantee that these two people are not lying to each other? This person is obviously looking elsewhere, and that one is obviously looking elsewhere. But for whatever Christian background they have, they are deceiving each other that we are waiting on each other. But really, why they're not really waiting on each other, they are satisfying themselves elsewhere. But for the sake of that relationship, they are just happy to come back and say that, oh, we were just waiting for each other for the past 2 years while they were not really waiting for each other. Pastor Enoch, Pastor Enoch is in the dark. I really want to discover, understand Pastor Enoch's view on that part where Odile, and I think it's a very valid viewpoint. Pastor Enoch, until you come back, make a sign that you have come back. If you just tune in, this is Let's Chit Chat, a real issue for real people. Topic today is sex before marriage. Is it a disaster waiting to happen? Is it good? The Bible says we should preserve ourselves. We should sustain and refrain ourselves from every sexual desire before marriage. So if you are to enter any kind of marriage, you must abstain yourself to have any kind of sexual relationship with that partner or any other partner. Therefore, we come back to this environment or society, like Karim said, rightly said that even in church, people don't live by those rules anymore. And again, you investigated that people will get married this month, 8 months after a child is coming out. Then if you really put the numbers and the days together as a woman, you know that a child will come after 9 months, if not premature. Sometimes 9 months past, they have to induce. So if there has been an 8 months and a half child, then you know that something definitely happened before these people got married. So sex before marriage, Odile has said that she will want to know the person better. Jackie has agreed to that. Pastor Enoch is coming back. Um, his device is not connected, so hopefully, while we're waiting for Pastor Enoch to be able to join us, Odile, Jackie, any other viewpoint on that, please go ahead. Pastor Enoch, we have your, yeah, that's it. Pastor Enoch is back. So
Right. Okay. Any other comments? No, I just totally.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
Jackie, go. Yeah, Jackie, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that I totally agree with Odie that, you know, obviously having a connection and building a life with someone before marriage is nowadays a lot of people are doing that, and I don't agree with what I don't agree with is obviously you were saying that, you know, you've been with your partner for 2 years, you haven't had intercourse with your partner for 2 years, but you're having it from someone else, and so is he. And I think that's really deceiving. I mean, how can you look at your partner, the person you love, or you're supposed to get married, and look in their eyes and say, "Yeah, I'm waiting for you, darling," but really you're actually going with someone else, maybe his best mate. I mean, God, I just think that's really harsh.
Pastor Enoch, answer Jackie and answer Odile is the same thing they asking you.
Thank you, mommy, and thank you, my dear sisters. I will say one thing, as Sister Ode was saying. Firstly, I was saying that if somebody is a cheater, it doesn't matter what you do to the person. Doesn't matter the kind of sex position or your knowledge about sex, how you treat the person. If the person is a cheater, he's a cheater. That's one thing that we should bear in mind. And again, I would say that uh, for you to realize that this person is lying to me, you know, there must be some kind of discernment in you, because I have been with you, let's say for 2 months. We have been talking. I know how you react to me when we first met. I know, it's true that some people can hide their real identity, but it's hardly for somebody, to be in that kind of position for long. If you are really a discernment person, if you are really in tune, your spirit is in tune with a person, like you love somebody to some kind of extent. When the person is doing something which you think is going beyond what the person said to you, at least you have a gist of what they are doing or what they are saying to you, because these people will not be consistent with their words. So if the person has come and approached you and telling you, "Oh, I want to get married to you. I'll marry you. I'm a virgin. I'm holy. We should wait till," and I know that you are lying, or like through your speech, everything will come out, because they won't be. I know that Sister Ode want to ask question, but I know that you see, lying is said that you always try to, one lie leads to another. You try to cover it up, and once you are dating the person, you might have, the person will have friends, the person will have relatives. So at least you will know some friends, you know some relatives, and people are so gossipers to the extent that they can't keep their mouth shut when some things are going on. They will reveal the secrets. So you have to pay attentive of what the person is telling you, if it is true or not. So Sister Ode and Sister Deki, I know for sure that once a person approach you in that way and the person is doing contrary to what he or she said, definitely you know that this person is a liar.
Well, I mean, I think one of the problems we have here is very hard to know those things, because I don't know, Pastor, the kind of world that you're living in, but all I know is that we live in a very difficult society now. Unless you're talking to me about back home in Africa, where people know one another from the first, the beginning of the road to the end. This family, them inside out. Then it's possible that you discover easily things that people do. But we live in a society, let's face it, we live in London. Sometimes you live even, no far away from one another, but you can't meet all the time because of the commitment. So how would you know what that person is doing? It is no, I think it's about two individuals. And I really have that strong feeling that I respect. I know people who will go through that. They make that decision that, oh, we are committed to one another, but we won't have sex until we are married. I really respect that. But if you're asking my opinion, I would say no, I don't want to go through that. The first thing is that I really don't know how long we will take to make that decision, knowing that this is something that I don't want to rush into. I will not want to rush into signing any paper with somebody for the sake of, because I know we haven't had that so I want to discover, But in fact, I will actually even enjoy you more because I know this man inside out. I know what they're capable of doing. I know when they're lying. This is because we are spending more time together. And us spending more time together, I do not see how I will see my boyfriend 5 days a week and just kiss them on their cheek and say, see you. And then I'll go in my bed, my body is turning up and down. I don't know what to do with myself. And then I'll wait until a year later that he will say, oh, I actually want to marry you. And if I meet you today and you come and say to me tomorrow, let's get married, I will say, no, I don't know you. So it's a little bit of, for me, I'm trying to be as practical as I can to say that I wouldn't want to go and get married to somebody if I don't know them. That's just me. But people have different opinion and they're all respected.
Sister Ode, I want to ask something. Sorry, Mommy.
Yes.
What at all do you want when you talk of the ins and the out of the person? What at all do you want to know about the person? Is it about the bodily satisfaction or what? Is it solely about the bodily satisfaction?
We are talking a bit about the Holy Spirit. Holy. When we say holy, it's you as a whole. I want to know you. How do you feel around me? Let's face it, these days, people have different body structure. There are men who will actually, when they see some bodies, they can't even stand up. How do you know that you waiting this long, you will actually, when we get into that level, you will be able to look at this body and say, yes, I was right to wait for this long. How do you know that? Because if I'm with you, we do everything, the whole thing. I know when this man is happy. I know when he wake up next to me, when he touches me, how he feels. I think it brings us more closer, or it separates us. Because if I don't like the way your mouth, you smell, I can't kiss you because we know we don't go at that deep level. And I don't know. This is just me, my bro. It's just me. I feel like I want to be able to see your expression. How do you feel about the whole thing? How are we feeling? I feel you, you feel me. I know how it is. I think it's sorry.
So I want to say one thing. People do get these bodily experiences, like the touching, like the cuddling, like the kissing, without a sex aspect. So if you are talking about, oh, how when I see you, how my body react, how the things go about, how you are able to ejaculate, maybe when you see me, those kind of erection and everything. You can have these kind of experiences with the man without even you having sex with a man. So the main objective,
scientifically, what happened? What happened? Because we all know that we go by emotions. You can see when a woman is satisfy. You see she glow. I mean, this is a part that people tend to neglect. Because you as a man, you come to see me, you spend day in, day out cuddling you go home, you're frustrated, you need to take all these cements out. You need to be able to
How do you know the person is frustrated?
there needs to be
How will you know the person
emotion.
is how do you know the person is frustrated? It's about the mindset. You know, that's what I'm saying. Before you even will get married to the person, I think mommy is a counselor. You go through such teachings, right?
No, I won't go through.
You go through such teachings, and to know that the person is capable of satisfying you in bed, capable of erecting and everything. I think these are kind of things the medical field will be able to prove it. So why do you want to no, it's like you see how you're reacting. It's like you want to feel the thing, the natural thing, before you marry, which is something that I think it will end badly.
I don't think so, my brother. I think it's all of us. The whole thing. You cannot tell me you know me so well when because okay, at some point our body need that, especially when we have started. I'm not talking about somebody who is a virgin who never knew. If I've been in a relationship in the past, or I was married in the past and it didn't work out, then I'm with this man that I love for a year. I'm gonna stop. No, I don't think it's right. For me, I don't know. I just find the whole thing a little bit weird, and I'm being honest here. If I'm dating you and we are talking about marriage, I think we should be talking about the whole thing. There shouldn't be anything, I'm not talking about jumping on you on our first, second, third day. Huh? I'm not saying that I will rip off your clothes on the first day. No, I'm talking about somebody I'm dating and I'm close to you and we are talking about seriousness. My brother, I would want to see that thing before anything. I wouldn't want to wait. I wouldn't. That's just me. And I think it would be wrong for me to even come here and sit and say, oh, I will date for a year or 6 months without knowing that man sexually, and I will go and marry them. I wouldn't want to do that. No.
Okay, mommy, one thing. I was getting to know somebody here, and anytime we do meet, we do talk. I go to the person's house, we do cuddle and this kind of stuff without having sex. In my mind, I thought like me providing that kind of bodily aspect to her, she will feel comfortable, or she will feel like I love her. But at the end of the day, this thing couldn't work, because in her mind she told me like, oh, I'm too physical. So you in your own sense, you might be thinking that, oh, the person love what you are doing. In your own sense, you might think that, oh, the person is interested, like wants to see how affectionate you are by touching her and everything. But the person in the back of her mind or his mind, she might be thinking otherwise. So one thing that plays major role when it comes to this kind of issue is that it's beyond sex. It's about communication. It's about how you and the person, when you meet, you react, the bodily language. So let's move aside from the sex aspect, and know that we need to build the kind of communication that even sometimes you'll be talking to somebody and say, oh, the way you talk to me, I feel it even more than if you are with me. So the best way is the communication aspect, because not all women will love a man that will be touching them always, or that are physical. So as not all men will love people like as soon as they meet, or if I don't give the person sex, or now that I'm not giving the person sex, the person is seeing somebody else and everything. No, when we build the communication, I think is most suitable for somebody that is preparing for marriage more than the sex aspect.
I love myself and Jackie just been watching you. I think because the conversation is so interesting that we are just admiring, listening. It's been very good. The topic is very good. Our time is well spent. If I can just comment on what Pastor Enoch has said earlier on, that they are definitely some men who, if they come to you or they talk to you or they approach you, then they become too physical. At one point, as a woman, you think to yourself, this one is too physical. Maybe I don't want too much physical contact off from the person. Then there are some people that, as a woman, you also want too much physical contact from them. So it really depends of the person, the situation, the environment. It might just be that the person is also saying you're too physical, because they know their weaknesses and they know that every time you are too physical with them, if you cannot proceed all the way to the end, it leaves them, like Odile says, they go home and start getting headache, and they start struggling to actually sustain themselves. So instead of coming out and telling you that, okay, you're coming too close and that might leave me very uncomfortable, they might just say you're too physical. So in a way to tell you that, okay, I'm uncomfortable after because of whatever is not happening. So one way or the other, it could also be that. It could also be that they just feel you're too physical, but it could also be that because they're not proceeding to the final action and they end up struggling to cope after. Then knowing that you're not ready to move to that step, so they rather you don't do the other step so they don't feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we as we have spent our time so much, final word from each and every one of you. Whoever wants to start first, it's up to you to start first. Final
Sister
word.
Sister Jackie is starting first.
Jackie, final words for our viewer: sex before marriage, or a disaster, or good thing. If you'd like to just let anyone know who's struggling with that issue, what you're thinking, maybe something that can help them. Jackie?
Right, okay. I just think, yeah, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of different issues regarding sex before marriage. I mean, if you're happy with your partner and you want to be intimate with your partner, then fair enough, before marriage. There's no wrong or right. But obviously some things do go, marriage doesn't always mean forever. But it's just a case of building together, communicating together, and sharing together. So yeah, that's what I believe.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jackie. Who's next?
Yeah, I do agree with what Jackie is saying. It's about two people who are committed to one another, and I really don't think it should be such a big issue to other people what these people are doing in their commitment. And also, people need to be a little more open when you have met that person that you feel you're going to be with, and if you really feel it's about the two of you, whatever you feel happy, and it should be mutual. So it shouldn't really be like, oh no, there is no, I mean, if we have to date for 2 years, we are going to be those 2 years, you have to wait, whatever. And I think if at some point you feel that we are going to abstain, we are going to wait, then so be it. But if one said, no, I really don't think I will be able to wait for this long, then it's about the two of you. We are not here. No one will know between the two of you what happened. I haven't met somebody, a couple who are what it's written in their face that these people waited. They didn't have sex before marriage, or they had sex before marriage. It's about two individuals, and whatever commitment have, for one another. Then yeah.
Brilliant. Pastor Enoch.
Wow, that's interesting from my sisters. Wow. Yeah. In some parts, I do agree with them when they say building good communication. Well, at the end of the day, it's you two guys that knows your body and that knows your systems. So I'm coming with my ideas. You are coming with your ideas. If I feel like we are not compatible in that aspect of what I believe in and what you believe in, then we shouldn't even try, because at the end of the day, we are going to lose interest. You are not going to be able to satisfy me, and I'm not able, will not be able also to satisfy you, because the first stage of even having sex is communication. Some people will see like the way you look at my eyes doesn't mean like you love me. The way you approach me means a lot. So the first stage of even having sex is communication. So communication must be essential in whatever that you guys are planning to do, and understanding each other. You shouldn't jump into relationship whereby you have not communicated your feelings to the other person, and don't pretend to, I think, to love somebody the way the person are or is, if you are not ready for the person. Thank you, mommy.
Wow. So many great and strong opinion. I will say what the Bible says in the book of 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. Keep yourself holy, protect your body, keep yourself safe, save yourself for that right person. I know that is pressure, but I also know that there are many people who decide not to get married, and they don't want to get married, and they just want to live in partnership. And there are also many people, like Odile says, you want to know that person so that you don't make a mistake. And again, the mistake is not just about having sex with them, the mistake can be about anything. Someone can have anything. And then the opinion that says someone can pretend to be holy by you, but then elsewhere they actually lavishing themselves and living it up. So if the platform is about real issue, real people, real life situation, it's really left to you to judge what is best for for you yourself for that situation, and what is morally right uh, for you and for that situation. We are promoting non-sex sexual activity before marriage because you don't want to give yourself to that person and then the person use and abuse you and leave you. At the same time, you can protect yourself, find yourself in a marriage, like Odile and Jackie rightly said. After protecting yourself, then still find yourself out of that marriage. So again, today we are not counseling you, we are not advising you, we are just debating these things that happen for people. This is Let's Chit Chat. Please follow us, share, and subscribe. We are very great to have you on board today, hearing us, listening to us, and we know that you will definitely comment on this issue. If you're living a sex before marriage, that's good, carry on. But if you're also going sex before marriage, again, it's up to you. We are not judging. We are just discussing and debating so we can all have our take. Until then, until next time, next week, same time, same place, we will have to say bye-bye to everyone. Bye to everyone.
Thank you.
Richard, definitely miss you today. Richard, we miss you. So bye.
Let's Chit Chat UK live stream. Hey, I'm Pastor Cecile Abba, a counselor by profession from Let's Chit Chat UK.